Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell, and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates the Friendship Dam in Herat province in Afghanistan, reiterates India's commitment to rebuilding the war-torn country. Haryana braces for the Jat agitation beginning Sunday. 48 companies of paramilitary forces deployed. Special focus on securing the western Yamuna Canal in Sonipat. Two policemen killed in the second terrorist attack in as many days in Jammu and Kashmir. This time militants opened fire at a police party in Anantnag. Garbiñe Muguruza crowned the French Open women's singles champion, beats Serena Williams in straight sets to claim her first Grand Slam. And boxing legend and arguably the greatest sportsman to have ever lived, Muhammad Ali passes away at the age of 74. Tributes poured from around the world. Our top story this evening, in a significant boost to Indo-Afghan relations, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the India-Afghanistan Friendship Dam in Herat province on Saturday. The dam is India's second big project in the war-torn country. The Prime Minister left for Qatar soon after for the second stop in his five-nation tour.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani jointly inaugurated the Afghan-India Friendship Dam in Herat province on Saturday. Built at a cost of 1,700 crore rupees, the multi-purpose dam, previously known as the Salma Dam, will irrigate 75,000 hectares of land and generate 42 megawatts of power, lighting up 2.5 lakh homes in the region. Originally built in 1976, India initiated the reconstruction of the dam in 2006 after it was damaged due to the civil war. All equipment and materials required for the dam were transported from India, and more than 1,500 Indian and Afghan engineers were involved in its construction.
This is yet another giant step in Afghanistan's march to progress. And it is a historic moment of emotion and pride in the relations between Afghanistan and India.
In his address, Afghan president said that a long-standing dream of the country had been realized after 30 years due to India's help. Reflecting India's strong commitment to reconstructing the war-ravaged country, the dam is expected to significantly boost the agricultural economy of Herat province. Modi had visited Kabul last year to inaugurate a parliament complex financed and constructed by India at a cost of 710 crore rupees.
For India, this long-term commitment to Afghanistan is a very important indicator of India's own credibility in the region, particularly in the face of Pakistani opposition. Because after the death of Mullah Mansoor, the Taliban leader, there is a lot of turbulence currently in the region, and I think Prime Minister Modi's visit would in a way reiterate both India's determination and commitment to stay engaged with Afghanistan.
On his second visit in less than 6 months, Prime Minister Modi arrived in Afghanistan on Saturday. He was also conferred with the country's highest civilian honor, the Amir Amanullah Khan Award, by the President. Modi is on a five-nation tour to Afghanistan, Qatar, Switzerland, US and Mexico. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's scheduled visit to the United States on the 6th of June, the two countries have signed an MOU to facilitate hassle-free entry of Indians into America. The move would take a few months to implement and will provide speedy security clearances for pre-approved low-risk Indian travelers upon arrival in the US at selected airports. India has become the 9th country with which the US has entered into such an international expedited traveler initiative, also known as the Global Entry Program. Currently, the global entry program is available at more than 40 US airports and 12 pre-clearance locations. The US is home to more than 3 million people of Indian origin. Meanwhile, the US has warned China of actions if it proceeds with construction on a South China Sea island that's also claimed by the Philippines. Now, speaking at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore, US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter said that China would be building a Great Wall of self-isolation if it goes ahead with the military expansion in the contested waters. China, however, criticized the United States for trying to isolate it in the region. Meanwhile, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar also addressed the Shangri-La Security Summit on Saturday and called for a regional security framework for security management to peacefully resolve disputes in the Indo-Pacific region. Parrikar touched on the South China Sea issue and stressed that the dispute should be solved peacefully and according to international law.
The situation in South China Sea continues to be viewed with concern. While we do not take position on territorial disputes, which should be resolved peacefully without the threat or use of force, we firmly uphold freedom of navigation and overflight in accordance with international law, in particular the UN Convention on Law of Seas.
Now, the Haryana government has imposed prohibitory orders in several places in the state ahead of the proposed Jat beginning Sunday in 15 districts. Security arrangements have been tightened all across Haryana. The administration is also on high alert.
Security arrangements have been beefed up ahead of the proposed Jat agitation from Sunday. As many as 4,800 paramilitary personnel have been deployed all across the state. Forces have also been deployed to guard the western Yamuna Canal in Sonipat district. A major chunk of the security forces has been put near the national highways and rail tracks, as officials are wary of the fact that protesters may attempt to block these again.
बिल्कुल तैयार खड़ी है, उनकी लगातार रिहर्सल कराई जा रही है, उनको ड्रिल करवा रहे हैं हम लोग। इसके अलावा जो प्रोसीजर है राइट कंट्रोल का, उसको प्रोसीजर को दोबारा समझाने के लिए आज एक बार फिर ड्यूटी मजिस्ट्रेट्स और पुलिस वाले जो अधिकारी हैं, इनकी सबकी एक बार प्रैक्टिस कराई गई। पूरी तरीके से जहाँ जहाँ पहले कहीं धरना देने की बात हुई थी या किसी जगह रोड रोको की कोई समस्या उत्पन्न हुई थी, उन हर जगह का चिन्हित करके हम लोगों ने वहाँ पे ड्यूटी मजिस्ट्रेट के साथ पुलिस बल को तैनात किया गया है।
The prohibitory orders under Section 144 of the CRPC have already been imposed in 7 sensitive districts of the state, banning gathering of 5 or more persons. Police are also keeping a close watch on anyone trying to spread rumors via social media. While Khap Panchayats have opted out of the proposed agitation, Jat community leaders this time have assured the government that protests will be peaceful.
कि हम 5 तारीख से 14 पॉइंट पर वो खुद उनसे बात करना, हम अर्बन को छोड़ करके देहात में शांतिपूर्वक ढंग से धरना देंगे। 5 तारीख से जो धरने होंगे वे बिल्कुल कंट्रोल होंगे। जो मेन शहरी क्षेत्र फरीदाबाद, पलवल का शहरी क्षेत्र, गुड़गांवा और सोनीपत में शहरी क्षेत्र, किसी भी शहर में हम कोई धरना या कोई प्रदर्शन नहीं करेंगे जिससे दूसरी जातियों के लोगों को ये मौका मिले।
Haryana police have cancelled leave of all personnel except in emergency cases till further orders. The call for protests was given after the Punjab and Haryana High Court stated the government moved to provide reservation to the community under the OBC category. During the last quota agitation in February, 30 people were killed and property worth hundreds of crores of rupees was destroyed. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A terrorist shot dead 2 policemen, including an officer in South Kashmir's Anantnag district today, only a day after killing 3 BSF jawans at Bijbehara. The 2 policemen have been identified as Assistant Sub-Inspector Bashir Ahmed and Constable Riaz Ahmed. Militants opened fire on a police party at a bus stand in Anantnag at around 11:20 in the morning, resulting in injuries to the 2 policemen who later succumbed to their injuries in hospital. The attack comes ahead of the 22nd June polling for the by-election to Anantnag Assembly seat, where Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti is one of the 9 candidates in the fray. The by-poll for the seat was necessitated due to the death of former Chief Minister Mufti Mohammed Saeed. This is the second attack in less than 24 hours in the district.
आदरणीय गृह मंत्री श्री राजनाथ सिंह जी ने स्वयं इसका संज्ञान लिया है और अपने विभाग को, मंत्रालय को इसकी पूरी जानकारी प्राप्त करने के लिए कहा है। और निश्चय ही कहीं भी देश की सुरक्षा के साथ और देश की प्रभुत्व सत्ता के साथ मोदी सरकार समझौता कर ले, इसकी संभावना ही नहीं है।
A retired High Court judge will probe the allegations against former Maharashtra Revenue Minister Eknath Khadse. Earlier on Saturday, Khadse tendered in his resignation after days of resisting the pressure of multiple corruption allegations. However, he maintained that the charges were false and even dared the opposition to bring evidence, saying he would quit politics if they did.
Dogged by multiple allegations of corruption, Maharashtra Revenue Minister Eknath Khadse resigned on Saturday morning. The resignation is believed to have come after a phone call from Union Road Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari conveying to Khadse that he should obey the party diktat.
जो 15 दिन से महाराष्ट्र में बेबुनियाद आरोप करके जो अभियान चलाया जा रहा है, मीडिया ट्रायल हो रही है और इसके बारे में बार बार मैंने ये बताया भी है कि इसके बारे में कोई सबूत दो। अगर सबूत कोई ठोस सबूत मिलता है तो मुझे कोई नैतिक अधिकार नहीं है कि मैं ये कुर्सी पर बना रहूं।
Reacting to allegations of corruption in a land deal, Khadse said the plot bought by his family was above board and legal.
लेकिन कोई भी सबूत लेके सामने नहीं आया है। फिर भी हमारे नेता एकनाथ जी खड़से ने एक उच्च परंपरा जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने पहले से रखी है, उसके तहत माननीय मुख्यमंत्री के पास राजीनामा देने की पेशकश की है।
However, the opposition seems unhappy with just a resignation. Demands for a probe into all the charges is gaining ground.
A criminal case should be registered against Shri Eknath Khadse for misuse of public office, if necessary under Prevention of Corruption Act under Section 13(1)(d). A fair and independent judicial probe must be held into the terrorist links, if any, of Shri Eknath Khadse.
Eknath Khadse, the yardstick which has been applied to him should be applied also to Vasundhara ji, CM of Chhattisgarh, and all those people. He should not stand alone as a case, because that's not just one skeleton out of the BJP cupboard. Otherwise, people will feel that the party which spoke about 0% tolerance to corruption is in fact very, very comfortable with 100% acceptance inculcation of corruption.
मैं ये चाहती हूँ कि उस पे कार्रवाई हो, तो पहले इंक्वायरी और उसके बाद कार्रवाई, ये मेरी मांग रहेगी। और उपोषण जो मेरा है, अनशन जो मेरा है, वो चालू ही रहेगा। मैं ये किसी भी प्रकार से हाफ वे बैटल छोड़ने वाली नहीं हूँ।
Khadse is also accused of receiving calls from gangster Dawood Ibrahim, an allegation he denies. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Ram Vriksha Yadav, the main accused in the Mathura clashes and the chief of the violent encroachers in Jawahar Bagh, has been declared dead. The state DGP confirmed that Yadav was among those killed in the clashes. The toll in the clashes also rose to 27 on Saturday, with 3 more people succumbing to their injuries. Meanwhile, BJP MP Hema Malini was stopped from entering the Jawahar Bagh area earlier today. The MP was stopped citing security reasons. She, however, slammed the district administration for lapses and said that there would not have been so much loss if the situation was handled properly. Meanwhile, opposition parties are training their guns on the state government. BSP Chief Mayawati demanded a CBI or a court-monitored probe into the incident.
यूपी सरकार की बहुत जरूरत थी लॉ एंड ऑर्डर को देखने की, जिसमें उन लोगों ने थोड़ा सा छूट दे दी है. There is somebody is supporting, with that support those people were here for the last 2 years, and then the police were trying to, because from High Court they got the order to remove those encroachment people, but which was not happening. So they were really in a bad condition. They wanted to do it and they are unable to, because they are not getting the order from the state government.
How is it for 2 years you allowed more than a 2,000 strong group to assemble there, collect arms, ammunition of the highest variety, store over 1,000 gas cylinders, and how was all this happening? What were the security forces or intelligence forces doing?
And first, the teenager who allegedly ran over a 32-year-old man while driving his father's Mercedes in the national capital will be tried as an adult. This after the Juvenile Justice Board labelled the offence as heinous. The JGB order came on the application of the Delhi police, which had sought transfer of the case to a trial court. The police had sought the transfer as the accused turned major just 4 days after the 4th April incident. This is the first time since the amendment in the Juvenile Justice Act that the board has transferred a case to the Sessions Court, considering the severity of the crime. The police had charge-sheeted the accused for culpable homicide not amounting to murder, an offence that entails a maximum of 10 years in jail. Time for us to take a short break. Lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
This is Kibutu in Arunachal Pradesh, East Point East on the map of India. Kibutu is dangerously close to the Chinese pressure point. In this second episode focused on Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force, we will try to get all the answers as to why this combat army is known as the world's best for jungle and mountain warfare.
ITBP का डिप्लॉयमेंट जो है विश्व का सबसे ऊंचा पर्वतों पर डिप्लॉय किया गया फोर्सेस में से है।
Watch national security, ITBP the secret weapon, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Some sports now. In Spain's Garbian Muguruza wins the French has in fact won the French Open women's singles title with a straight set victory over Serena Williams. This is Muguruza's first Grand Slam title. Muguruza won the title with a 7-5, 6-4 scoreline, dashing Williams's hopes of equaling Steffi Graf's Open-era record of 22 Grand Slam titles. This is also Serena's first ever defeat in a French Open final. Williams is looking to become the oldest champion at Roland Garros at the age of 34. With this win, Muguruza also becomes the first Spanish woman to win at Roland Garros since Arantxa Sanchez Vicario beat Monica Seles in the final in 1998. And it is fitting a win for her as she forced the world to sit up and take notice when she stunned Williams here in the second round 2 years ago.
I can explain with words how this day means to me. You know, you work all your life to get here. I want to really congratulate Serena because she's one of the best players. So, congratulations. Of course, I want to say thank you to my team, my coach, everyone there, Ollie, Cecilia, and my family for sure.
The boxing legend and one of the sport's greatest ever, Muhammad Ali, died on Friday night. He was 74. Ali had been suffering from a respiratory illness, a condition which was complicated by his long-suffered Parkinson's disease. A vibrant and outspoken personality, Ali was the first man to win the world heavyweight title thrice. He finished his career winning 56 of his 61 fights with 37 knockouts among them, now some of which are considered to be the finest in boxing history.
That's the way I like it. That makes me rumble. Don't we rumble? Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Ah!
With his dancing feet and quick fists, he remained true to these words. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest champions to have graced the game of boxing, died on Friday night after a long battle with illness. He was 74. Ali had been suffering from Parkinson's disease for 3 decades and was being treated in a hospital in recent days for a respiratory issue. His demise has left the sporting world mourning, with tributes pouring in from around the world.
Because this town, trust me, man, this town loves him. You hear me? And the world loves him. You know, you don't hear who talks bad about Ali?
Born Cassius Clay, Ali shot to fame after winning light heavyweight gold at the 1960 Rome Olympics. Nicknamed the greatest, the American stunned the boxing world by beating Sonny Liston in 1964 to win his first world title just at the age of 22.
I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time when I beat Sonny Liston. I told you today, I'm still the greatest of all time.
In 1967, Ali took the momentous decision of opposing the US war in Vietnam, a move widely criticized. He refused to be drafted into the US military and was subsequently stripped of his world title and boxing license. He would not fight again for nearly 4 years.
Why should me and other so-called Negroes go 10,000 miles away from home here in America to drop bombs and bullets on other innocent brown people who's never bothered us. And I will say directly, no, I will not go.
Ali returned to the ring and fought in some of the most iconic contests in boxing history. He regained his title with an 8th round knockout of George Foreman in the Rumble in the Jungle. Frazier for a third and final time in the Philippines on 1st October 1975, coming out on top in the Thrilla in Manila, both of which are regarded as the finest fights in boxing history. After winning the title in 1978, Ali became the first man to win heavyweight titles 3 times.
I've been honored everywhere in the world, but nothing is like coming home and being honored.
Ali, however, was more than just an athlete. He was also a civil rights campaigner and a poet who transcended the bounds of sport, race and nationality. His outspoken support for civil rights endeared him to millions of people across the world.
I've received my fame from being controversial. All my life, as growing up as a little boy, I always said if I could get famous, I'd do things to help my people that other people won't do.
Ali finished his glorious career record of 56 wins out of 61 fights with 37 knockouts. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 3 years after he retired from the sport in 1981 to be troubled by the disease for the rest of his life. Bureau Report, Sabha TV.
All the other sporting action now in Sports Beat. The Indian women's hockey team lost 1-2 to Japan in the bronze medal playoff in the four-nation invitational tournament in Australia. India started on a bright note and took the lead in the 37th minute, but Japan equalized soon and then took the lead in the 42nd minute. India earned a penalty corner in the dying minutes of the game, but failed to convert as Japan held to take on the bronze medal. Spanish champions Barcelona have been fined €150,000 by UEFA for the separated flag that were flown in the Nou Camp during a Champions League game against Bayer Leverkusen last season. The team management has called the punishment totally unjust, and said that they would do everything to overturn the decision. Brazil will take on Ecuador in the opening game of the Copa America later tonight. Brazil will be without some of the top players, including their talismanic striker Neymar, who will instead take part in the Olympic Games. Brazil's last major success at the tournament was in 2007 in Venezuela. Some international news now, and more bodies of migrants who drowned trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea were found washed up on beaches in the western Libyan city of Zuwara. At least 128 people have died and the number is expected to rise. Hundreds of migrants have died in boat accidents as the departures from the North African coast surged. Many of the boats are believed to have left from the shore around Zuwara and Sabratha in Libya's northwest. In Greece, efforts are underway to find hundreds believed missing after a migrant boat capsized off the island of Crete on Friday. 340 people have been saved as desperate rescue efforts still continue. More than 40,000 migrants have crossed the Mediterranean Sea from North Africa to Italy this year.
تم يوم أمس تاريخ 2/6/2016 انتشال 116 جثة لمهاجرين غير نظاميين من على شواطئ مدينة زوارة، ويكون إجمالي الجثث المنتشلة ما بين أمس واليوم.
The parts of Europe, including France and Germany, Texas in the United States, China and Australia are all facing severe floods. In Paris, the River Seine crossed the highest level in 30 years, while in Texas, the U.S. Army continues searching for bodies after floods hit the area.
Flood waters in France, Germany, China, Texas and Australia are wreaking havoc, disrupting normal life and creating widespread devastation. Heavy floods after days of torrential rains continues to disrupt normal life in the French capital Paris. However, bringing some respite, the water in the rain-swollen river Seine has started receding.
Non, d'ailleurs, la semaine dernière, on pouvait se promener sur les berges, c'était très agréable, il y avait un peu de soleil et tout, et aujourd'hui, c'est inondé. C'est impressionnant comment ça peut changer en une semaine.
The flood waters have also inundated the nearly 500-year-old historic French castle in Loire Valley. However, authorities say that the water levels of other rivers are also receding. The French army launched a rescue mission to evacuate stranded residents in Paris. The situation is not very different in Germany. Floods have claimed at least 6 lives, leaving scores others missing in Bavaria. In US's Texas, the US Army has recovered the bodies of 4 soldiers who were swept away by floodwaters, taking the death toll to 9. Thousands have been evacuated due to the floods in the state. Heavy rains are forecast through the weekend, likely making the situation worse.
I'm sad to report that we recovered our 4 missing soldiers. Tragically, all 4 of those soldiers are deceased, and we've lost, in this incident, 9 of our great soldiers.
In China too, heavy rainfall has led to overflowing of rivers, flooding southwest China's Guizhou province. Rainfall and landslides were reported from other parts of the country as well, destroying hectares of crops and damaging electrical lines. Storms and wild weather moved down the east coast of Australia too, causing flash flooding in parts of New South Wales and Queensland. Authorities want people to stay indoors and off the roads until the dangerous conditions passed. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.